All right, guys, in the shop today, we've brought a guest, Eric. You guys know Eric. And we're back with Chris. He's assembling a touring pack. So today we are putting a tune on the bike. We're going with this THUNDERMAX 2018 Softail models with the Milwaukee 8 engine, which is what we have. We're looking up information on calling THUNDERMAX so that they can possibly send us over a tune. But we're gonna go ahead and unbox it just to see what we got.
Just upload it to there. Bingo bango. No CD there. It might not.
Pretty nice of them. It comes pre-done with some anti-seize on them.
Oh, once we get it all connected, we'll tuck these up.
So THUNDERMAX sends you these block-offs. Another thing I'm not going to be able to do.
I don't know if you can tell what he's fighting with, and I realize I'm getting in his face.
Oh yeah, it's what I've been doing to you for the last 2 days.
I'd go around the other side, but then you'll see his face, and we can't have a reveal yet. Oh, might have got it, maybe, almost.
Is it folding in on
almost,
itself?
kind of, maybe, definitely not.
No!
Oh, see? Almost, kind of, maybe, definitely not. You want to show them what you're trying to do?
Yeah, so we're trying to get this over the stock O2 harness.
Because there's nice little pointy alignment pins on that. Yep.
There and there. You're basically working with like a round piece. I mean, they really measured it up.
Square hole, just the other way.
How did you get this on there?
Now he's losing it. He's patient. You see the sweat coming off his forehead.
No.
I didn't realize it was going to take this long, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna let you do it.
It's 2 minutes in.
Now watch the pro.
Round. Almost square. All right, we'll call it pro on that one. So they had us going underneath, right? So when this loops here, look, it's coming out right where the red arrow is. Nice. Hey, we did that.
Hey.
Woo, go us.
Teamwork.
Makes the dream work. Is that how that is? Remember that. Teamwork makes the dream work. I'm over here supervising in the background. Where'd you hear that? Disney? Maybe a movie somewhere, I don't know. I'm full of movie quotes and I don't remember where they come from. I just blurt them out every now and then.
It's true.
And it's like, Block catches them, he's like,
it's one.
That's da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh.
One of the good parts of our friendship is we somehow know a lot of the same movie quotes.
A Lenovo, he means business. See, that's a real laptop right there. None of this Apple junk. I'm an Apple fan. Screenshot that because we're not going to read it right now.
Yeah, we'll read it later.
Okay. Cobra True Dual Head Pipe, Reinhardt slip-ons, high flow air cleaner, race fueling 521 cam. We're using the 517. So you don't even have a base map for 517. Although the 521 might be really close. So what we're gonna do is we'll put this one in. We can do 50 miles riding, which really we could do that going to lunch. You could get some on it. Right. And then once the 50's done, we'll let it populate, and then we'll set them out for a couple weeks. Oh.
It says uninterrupted power warning. Firmware upgrade process requires uninterrupted computer and motorcycle power supply. Verify that you have adequate battery for 20 minutes of operation. It's recommended that the motorcycle be connected to a 5 amp low rate battery charger and to disable screensavers and computer hibernation features. So we basically have to update the firmware. Initializing new firmware upgrade. Stand by, 4:30. What the f are you doing over here?
I'm making art.
Yeah.
It's cool, right?
All right, so the map has been written.
Forgot this. I used,
All right, guys, we got it buttoned up. Gonna fire it. Let's see how it goes.
All those offsets that were created during that riding session are now part of the map. So the next time you turn the ignition on, the sensors have a new starting position in which to tune even farther. Or you can, you know, take it out, go put 100, 200 miles on it, come back, link up, and then run the auto map. And what that does is essentially just takes all those same offsets that were created, but rewrites the actual fueling curve in the map. You know, like I said, I'd take it out, you know, get about 50, 60 miles on it, turn the ignition off, turn it back on, get about another 50, 60 miles on it, and you should notice the map getting better and better.
All right. Well, that's what we'll do.
All right. If you have any issues, you can definitely link up, take a data collection, and send that in to us.
Thank you, sir.
Just let us know just let us know if you got any more questions or need any help with anything.
All right. Thanks, sir.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Cool. So we just gotta
Button it up.
button her up, put the seat on, and
We'll ship you out on the road.
I don't know.
See what happens.
Oh my god.
How to snap, crackle, pops.
Sounds like you got a Godzilla on your hands. Once I'm full throttle, like you're just gone. Like okay. There's no point.
We'll have to do a couple runs.
Now
like,
I have to get another bike just so when we go on rides, I don't beat the shit out of my road king.
yeah, that's how I felt when I rode with you guys and I had a Sportster.
That's your fault.
I was
bro.
100% on the Sportster.
Live wire or 131?
Ooh,
wire.
I think we need to put them up against one another again.
Nah, I don't know.
Future episode, more Mexico episodes. So we're just plugging it in again. What are we doing? Pulling the current data. Gonna fix that D-cell pop a little bit and then continue on with the auto tune. So Eric just said, aren't you supposed to not go over, what'd you say, 3,000 RPM? 4 grand?
Yeah, that's for like.
So Chris said,
Chris didn't say shit.
That's
Woo! That's just all whatever that is.
Tomorrow.
all right. We are continuing getting this THUNDERMAX to learn. Woo! She's learning amazing. Day 2 of running the THUNDERMAX and getting it to basically like learn the riding style. So like the first run we did, there was a flat spot in the beginning of 2nd gear and 3rd gear. So like when you'd be getting on it like I just did, beginning of 2nd gear, there was just like no response in the throttle. And then the beginning of 3rd gear, also kind of no response in the throttle. It would basically lag for a second and then it would kick in and the power would be there. And so the THUNDERMAX is basically learned pretty much right after that run. It learned, okay, like let's correct those flat spots. And it corrected them and it was a little better. And then after the next run, which was very short run, it learned even better. And so now there's like absolutely no flat spot between like 2nd and 3rd. Like it's, I mean, I'll show you guys here when I get on this road on Binion. Whew. Can't wait till those new brakes show up. I need them. All right, so we're in 1st gear right now. No flat spot at all. This bike is ridiculous. It feels so planted though. It's so nice. So yeah, I'm gonna be really interested to see what the numbers are after we get it back and throw it on the dyno when it's learned a bit. Just pulling, man, pulling. Jeez. There's so much power. Oh my god. Whenever it was on just like the 114, right, stock, you'd get a lot of pull like around 3,000 and then it would kind of taper off in the upper RPMs. But now it's just got so much more mid to high. So much more. Wow. All right, we got a
couple good runs in there, a couple good pulls. So hopefully it should learn a little bit more. All right, I guess the next part is us taking it to Chris up at Seminole Harley. See if we can get this thing tuned up a little more.
Tomorrow.
Back up here at Seminole Harley Davidson, and we've been running the Lowrider S with the 131 for I don't even know, like 100 something miles, 133 miles, and yeah, it's running pretty nice. Chris is gonna go take it for a rip real quick, and he's gonna see how it feels, and then whenever he gets back, we're gonna take it into the dyno room to get some power numbers for it. So bon appetit.
Eventually.
Woo!
Feels good?
Oh yeah. Waiting to see what it puts out.
Oh yeah.
You're at 550 and it's still going up. If you can up the red line to like 6,500 or something and see if it's still pulling at 6,500, you can get your horsepower number up, you know, because it's still climbing right there, you know?
The limiter is limiting.
Well, yeah, I mean...
So keep in mind, we took it out of the box and put it in. We made no modifications for the reasons that we wanted to see what it,
see where it's at.
It does,
Yeah.
right out of the box.
Yeah.
Is
So,
it
like...
worth it? Or are you gonna have to spend a bunch of time and tuning and
Yeah.
If you saw like the horsepower start dropping, there's no reason to go higher. Your head's out of air.
Right.
You can't move any more air. But where your horsepower is still on its way up, if you can give it a little bit more, I would try and bump the red line up a little bit and see if it's still pulling. I mean, you don't want to go too far. And if you gave it another 1,000 RPM and see if it's still pulling, I don't think you're gonna hurt its feelings.
This is basically what you get for the 5,000. You about 143 foot-pounds of torque. Right now we're making 111. Let's keep in mind you're not looking at RPM, but this is cutting off at about 5,600 RPMs right now. Again, this is everything that we got out of the box as is. We haven't added any frills, we haven't tuned, we haven't done anything. This is it.
So this is pre-tune. We're getting 143.5 torque, 111.3 horsepower. This is running on a map from THUNDERMAX, which the cam didn't match up. Yeah, base map. Cam didn't match up, but it was for the 131, and so
your AFR is decent. This is set at 14.3, which is standard stoichiometric value. But if you lowered that to say 13.8, you're right in there. You kind of want it a little bit fatter. As this evolves and grows, you'll see what we add to and what we do and when we do it, and we'll show numbers every time we make a change that's of any significant value. We'll show numbers. We're going to stretch that out to 6,000. We're going to do some tuning, and we're going to play with this, and we'll update you as we go.
But before we do all that, we have to let the engine break in a bit more, just because we don't want to put too much stress on it, because currently there's only about 140 miles on it, right?
145, somewhere like that.
Yeah, we're gonna let it break in a little longer, then we'll come back, raise the RPM, start tuning it up, give it some more mileage to auto tune and all that. Continue on. THUNDERMAX first session. We will be comparing it obviously to the Screaming Eagle, but I think that's probably it for now.
3 weeks later.
Here we are installing the THUNDERMAX again. We did this once.
We totally didn't do it the first time because we installed the engine before Harley released their tune.
But we didn't want to tell you guys that.
Yeah.
So our transparency is, it was out on the street before the download, so yeah, the things we do.
Science.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's for science, bro. Yeah, Mr. White.
Oh shit, I'm stuck.
Science.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
So this is where we really start to unlock the potential. Guesses? Okay, so stock tune, we're at 131, 131. So THUNDERMAX.
It's not auto-tuned to anything because it was for your Bassani street sweepers.
Oh, true.
So in essence, it doesn't know shit.
True.
This is just right out of the box.
So THUNDERMAX we're basically putting on here, and it does have an auto-tune feature, but obviously we haven't ran it yet. So it's gonna be interesting to see what it gets out of the box. Then after, I don't know, what would you say, put a couple 100 miles on it, and then we'll bring it back, dyno it again to see if there's any gains.
Well, so we're gonna
Tune it. Yeah.
And at that point, you won't need auto-tune anymore.
Oh, okay, nice.
Or we could do the auto-tune. So we have options here, I guess. Something to ponder off camera. We can discuss a little further.
How's it looking, gents?
Well, so we're lean. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Lean all the way through. Although it's pretty close to 14.3.
Yeah, it don't start out that way.
Torque dip. 2 into 1.
But you're also, like I said, if you fatten that up a little bit.
But that horsepower is pretty daggone good.
Yeah.
I mean, we can make that better, but that's a nice smooth horsepower. We'll fix the torque portion and make good shit happen.
Yeah.
This is what we were just discussing, your horsepower. Your horsepower looks pretty good. Your torque is pretty much chasing your horsepower all the way through. This here, this dip, this is, again, I've said it a few times, but we'll call that the 2 into 1 dip. This is very common with a 2 into 1 pipe. So we're gonna fix this. We're also gonna bring your AFR down. I think we're set at 13.8 is what we're gonna aim for. We might probably bring it down to 13.5 if it's not already there. Once we get this level and this level, this should all change. And what we're expecting to see, we haven't seen a 517 cam like a really good tuned one because we've just been burning them under warranty tunes. But we're hoping to see it peak right in here. Like we want to see this come up here and flatline. Right now, I don't know if you recall, but Mike was wanting these to cross around the 5200 mark, 5000, 5200 mark.
Right now it looks like an on and off switch. Off, and then you just switch it on and it takes off.
This is the map just dropped in, not auto tune, not nothing.
Nope.
It's right out of the box.
We're gonna see what kind of magic happens, and then we'll see it afterwards. So there's the before, and we'll see the after here in a little bit.
And now we sit on a computer.
Power ease wise, is it better? Like, is it easier to tune a bike like this, or back in the day whenever you had to jet?
Honestly, it's kind of equal. I mean, if you did a standard pipes and high flow and you know what jet size you're running and what carb and whatnot. Down here in Florida, a big thing, we're big body S&S engines. 113s were big, the 107, the 111. So depending on the exhaust, you kind of knew what jet size to put in, and it was pretty much straightforward. You knew your carb setup. Similar for these, when you have the right calibration, you just put it in and you're done. But anytime it comes to custom anything or oddball anything, or you're trying to tune anything, it has its own set of challenges, no matter what, whether it be on a computer or a carburetor. So to answer your question in a really long way, this is probably easier, but it's more frustrating when the shit won't load.
Chris is throwing shade at Mike, and he said it's more difficult because he has.
Turned it back on.
Oh, back in my day.
I said it's hard for Mike because he has to put on his reading glasses. So yes, it's a little more challenging. Mike?
Huh? I'm sorry. I'm reading.
I'm not trying to distract you. I'm just trying to get a shot of them reading glasses. People fall in love with your voice, so it's like
Swooning.
whenever they see Hot Librarian too.
See me.
I sound like a little kid and look like a little kid, and he's over here swooning them to death. So.
Yeah, it's that accent, man.
Yeah, I can drop the accent if I have to.
But where do you keep it?
Back in my own. I have to turn that on every time somebody will be like, say park the car, you know? And I'll be like, I parked my car.
All right, guys, leaving Seminole Harley for today. Woo! We're gonna ride it a bit, get it to do some auto tuning stuff. See you guys.
Yeah, this thing freaking listen to it. That's crazy. Anyways, I'm headed to Ace Cafe right now. Gonna meet up actually with Shade Tree Surgeon and Flip for Forgotten Angels thing. So the 131s are gonna be together, which is cool. I am gonna, you know, ride it a little bit more spiritedly just because we want auto-tune to kind of pick up on some stuff. But after we just ride the bike a bit. So what we did is we tuned it a little bit with the THUNDERMAX. And then after we tuned it a little bit, we're basically gonna let it auto-tune from that tune, and then we're going to come back, put it on the dyno again tomorrow and see what the numbers are after riding it for, you know, a bit. But it's just constantly going to be in like that state of auto tune. So yeah, that's the plan. So I'll see you guys tomorrow as per the video. I'll use that little SpongeBob transition that says tomorrow right here.
Tomorrow.
Put about 100 something miles on it since the last time around. Yeah, a little over 100 miles on it. So we're gonna see what the difference in the curve is for horsepower and torque. Do a couple pulls and see if it's grown at all throughout the auto-tune process.
The unfiltered result would be given about 100 miles of auto tune. All right, so right now we're at 131, 132. That appears to be about where we're at. 131, 132. We still have this flat here that we need to work on. Remember when I was talking about this in the beginning, we wanted to see the curve in this range?
Yep.
Or we wanted to see the cross, I mean. We're right there, and actually if you look at this top run, our X is pretty good. There's not too much of a dip here. We're gonna attempt to flatten all this out so these two just kind of merge. And this little dip, all of this stuff, we're gonna get rid of. That's the unfiltered result with about 100 miles of auto tune. Reference back to the original run where we started with them chasing each other, if you recall. And then the first couple we were doing, we had a nice dip right here. It was real low, and now we're all the way up here. If you remember in the beginning, ideally we want this to come up through here. So we're getting there. Auto tune is getting there. It's doing half the work for us, but as you can tell, it's still gonna need a little refining.
There you go, guys. There's the numbers. A little over 100 miles of auto tune, and yeah, we'll continue to tweak. Maybe even look into some new cams.